Hi, I'm Mike the Pharmacist. Thank you for joining me on the Daily Dose. Today we'll be talking about the role of insulin and why it's so important. Insulin is one of the most important hormones in our body. Without it we could die, and that's actually what used to happen before the 1920s. In the year 1922, a 14-year-old boy named Leonard Thompson was given his first dose of insulin. Two scientists, Frederick Banting and a medical student, Charles Best, discovered the hormone insulin in pancreatic extracts of dogs. Interesting fact, these two brilliant scientists were actually Canadian, just like me. Anyway, let's move on. Thanks to this discovery of insulin, Leonard Thompson lived several generations more than he was expected to, and several kids just like him survived as well. So why is insulin so important? Insulin is a hormone released by the pancreas, specifically the beta cells in the pancreas, that help turn blood sugar or glucose into expendable energy. This energy can be used to get out of bed in the morning, do jumping jacks, or run a marathon. When you eat, the stomach digests food, then it absorbs it into the bloodstream. This rise in blood sugar triggers the pancreas to release insulin. In a healthy person, the blood only carries about a teaspoon of sugar. The rest of the glucose is stored in the muscle tissue and liver as glycogen. What is glycogen? Glycogen is essentially a long strain of glucose molecules. It's sitting on the sidelines, ready to be converted into energy. The insulin then moves the sugars from the bloodstream to the body tissue so it can be used or it can be stored. To illustrate how this works, think of a gas station. You have a barrel of gas and you have your car. The barrel of gas represents the bloodstream. Your car, or the tank of gas in your car, is your body tissue. The pump is insulin. It moves the energy from the barrel to your car. It could also be described as a key. It opens the entrance of the cell so that glucose can enter. Insulin also has other functions, like converting sugar to fat and blocking fats from being burnt off. It also absorbs potassium. It also retains sodium. This is why diabetics often have high blood pressure. So what happens if I can't produce any insulin? This is a condition called type 1 diabetes. In type 1 diabetes, the beta cells in the pancreas cannot produce insulin at all. So when you have a sugary meal, your body sends a signal to your pancreas to release insulin, but it can't. In diabetes, the sugar levels keep rising in the blood. This is called hyperglycemia. On average, people consume about 76 grams of sugar a day. So you can see this is a big problem when we cannot move this sugar into our body and it stays in our bloodstream. Because the cells in your body can't turn glucose into the energy the cells need, the cells actually think they are starving. So it tells the brain to find food elsewhere. It tells you to eat. And that's why diabetics often crave sweets. The cells are starving even though there's glucose in abundance in the bloodstream. It's called starvation in the midst of plenty. This is also often why diabetics feel fatigued. When the body finds it can't get glucose from food, it adapts. It starts to break down its glycogen stores. When that's depleted, it starts to break down its fats. When that's depleted, it starts to break down proteins. Contrary to popular belief, diabetes actually causes weight loss because the body starts to eat away at itself. This process of breaking down fats and proteins in the body can be extremely, extremely dangerous because the byproduct of fat breakdown is ketones. This process starts to make the blood acidic, leading to DKA, or what we call diabetic ketoacidosis. Some of the early symptoms of diabetic ketoacidosis are thirst, very dry mouth, frequent urination, high levels of ketones in your urine, and fruity breath. You get fruity breath because this is the organic smell of ketones. If left untreated, DKA can lead to vomiting. Now if there's vomiting, This is the first sign that glucose levels are seriously out of control. This is an emergency. It can lead to a diabetic coma, and if left uncontrolled, can be fatal. This is what happened to most diabetics before the 1920s. This is why most children with type 1 diabetes didn't live to see their adolescence. So thank you, Canadians, for giving us insulin. Thank you for joining me on the Daily Dose, and I hope you found this information to be very beneficial.